in high school as the Stowe Raiders are in town to try and take down the reigning Division III boys basketball state champion in the opening playdown matchup of the boys high school playoff season. We're underway. The tip controlled by the Wildcats wearing white with blue and red trim. The Hazen team attacking left to right across your radio here in the opening quarter. And they'll start off their night with a three from the near corner. Off the rim, no good. Rebound, put back, no good. Third shot of the opening possession. That one will go for Lincoln Michaud. And we should introduce you to all of the starters. Stowe wearing green tonight with white stripes around the waistband and up the side of the jersey. They have it, and again, with Hazen moving left to right, Stowe attacks right to left here in the opening quarter. A Stowe team that, on paper anyway, a little bit overmatched tonight. 3 wins in the regular season for Stowe. Meanwhile, just a bucket full for Hazen. 18, I believe. 18-3 the record for the Wildcats. Stowe 3-16, but the Raiders working it around the perimeter on their opening possession. We've just played the first minute of the first quarter. Toss to the far side in front of the student section, lost out of bounds. That one off the hands of Isaiah Thomas. And so it'll go back to the Wildcats. We'll quickly read you the starters for Stowe. That's Keenan McElharney, T.J. Guffey, Dylan Souter, Isaiah Thomas, and Chase Brown. Meanwhile, for the Wildcats, pass here picked off. The pass came from Xavier Hill. He was looking to get it to Tyler Rivard in the corner, but Stowe intercepting the pass. And now Chase Brown leading the attack. Brown gives it up to Thomas. Thomas dribbling near half court, came all the way out high. Gives it back to Brown. Brown puts it to the floor. Hazen playing man-to-man defense and looking good. Stowe hasn't even gotten anywhere near the paint through 2 possessions. Each possession has been lengthy, and there's a pass picked off. Lincoln Michaud trying to go the length of the floor, goes up with the left, no good. Rebound corralled by Jaden Baker. Baker found Michaud again. Michaud missed, but the putback by Rivard. Count it and 1. Too many second chance opportunities being allowed by Stowe. As on each of the first 2 Wildcat possessions, Hazen Union has had 3 opportunities, cashing in the third both times. And now a chance to make it 5-0. The free throw off the front of the rim, no good. Stowe controls the rebound. So Rivard gets the 2, but that's all so far. Brendan Moody, I think the only starter for Hazen that we didn't mention. Moody, Baker, Hill, Rivard, and Michaud. For the Wildcats, the defending champs, and the 2 seeds this year. Yeah, the Winooski Spartans, the 1 seed. Very strong boys program. We saw the Winooski girls lose here against the Hazen girls just last Wednesday. I think the final score of that one was about 80-20, maybe 81-19. Here's another turnover. Stowe cannot penetrate this Wildcat defense. Just everything outside the 3-point arc. And that has to be frustrating for these visitors in green, as they're just trying to whip the ball cross court in the last 2 instances, losing it out of bounds. Hazen, because that ball went out of bounds under their basket, able to start the set on the attacking side of the floor. They'll lob cross court. Driving baseline, Hill, he's met and fouled. Foul's going to go against Dylan Souter. For Stowe, that's the second Stowe foul. This one coming in from under the bucket. Hill lobs in to a leaping Rivard. Rivard in the paint. Ball tied up. That'll be a jump ball. And it's going to go to Stowe. So the first stop for the Raiders. Now they'll need to find some offense, and they'll need to work against full court pressure here. 3 Wildcats attacking the near side. They forget about defending under the hoop, but a foul under the hoop. Dylan Souter did well to head fake, get the defender up in the air, and then go up for the shot. Problem was, from Souter's perspective, he was not in a great scoring area. He was directly under the cylinder, so not a good angle. Put the ball right under the bottom of the bucket. But now he'll go to the line, and he'll hit the first. The foul, meanwhile, whistled against Rivard. Stowe on the board just about 3 minutes into the opening quarter. And now it's a 4-2 game, knocking them both down is Souter. Hazen doesn't waste any time bringing it up the floor, trying a three. No good for Moody. Rebound kicked out by Baker, and they get it to Moody again near side. Feeds into the post to Michaud, goes cross court for a three. That's Jaden Baker hitting down the game's first tray. 7-2 Hazen approaching the halfway point of the opening quarter. Stowe does well to get it across half court, but after gaining the half court line, they give it up, and the ball lost out of bounds by Moody trying to score a fast break bucket. Good job by the Raiders hustling back and not giving away an easy bucket. And the inbound pass up and in for Rivard. That was too easy, and it's 9-2 Hazen. Worth noting that Stowe is playing very short-handed today. They have a pretty big roster when you look at it. The varsity roster includes about 18 players. I don't have time to count them all right now. Well, yes, I do. It's going to go ahead and be 16 players on the Stowe roster. That's the official listed roster, printed roster, and a nice steal here by Rivard, who will take a long two. That rims out, rebounded by Chase Brown for Stowe. But of the 16 players on Stowe's roster, only 8 are in the building. So they have just 3 bench guys tonight. Deep 3 for one of the Stowe starters, Thomas, too strong. Hazen, in transition, throws the ball out of bounds, so it'll go back to Stowe. 3:51 to play first period. 9-2 Hazen our score. There's just not enough urgency on these Stowe passes, as almost every pass is being picked off. I don't want to call them lazy passes, but they're not doing much to get them past the really tenacious Hazen defenders. Hazen winning possession because of that last steal. Send it to Moody, bounce pass to the baseline, finds Michaud. Great ball movement back to Baker, who just hit a three. This one no good from the top of the key. What a big block under the basket by McKillarney. Another good stop for Stowe. Ball out of bounds off the block, off of Hazen. So Stowe ball, 3:30 left in the quarter, and another giveaway on the inbound play. All these passes, a lot of them coming from Chase Brown, and he's just not getting enough zip on them. The pass is traveling too great a distance with not enough velocity. Recipe to have them picked off one after another. The Hazen inbound from under the basket goes to Moody. Now Baker dribbling near side above the arc. Passed across to Hill. Thought about a three. Tries a cross-court pass. Good read by Keenan McKillarney. Leaping to intercept. Then he gives to Brown to bring it across half court. Stowe needs a bucket. Down 7 here in the first quarter. Yet to hit a field goal. Really haven't attempted very many field goals, haven't the Raiders? They'll take a timeout here. And we might as well take it, too. Let you hear from our sponsors. 2:58 to play in the first. 9-2, Hazen in front. Stowe Raiders with the ball. They inbound just in the nick of time. Almost the 5-second violation out of the timeout. But Stowe with it. Trying to find a field goal. And they'll find a foul. It's going to go against Brendan Moody, his first. Team's second. Each team has been whistled twice here in the first quarter. And Stowe goes to the bench. Maddox Gregory comes into the game. How do you like that? 90s sports fans, this is a dream matchup. It's actually a dream roster for Stowe. You've got Isaiah Thomas and Maddox Gregory, spelled exactly the same way as Greg Maddox, the pitcher, but in reverse order. And there's the first bucket for the Stowe Raiders. TJ Guffey from the paint. That was a nice bit of ball movement by the Raiders. Maybe the answer coming off the bench with Maddox helped move it around. 9-4 the score, 2:25 to play in the first. Hazen with it now. Just a lightning quick bit of ball movement. So picture this, 4 players stationed equidistant around the arc, and 2 in each corner, obviously, and then 2 offset on either side of the key, and they're just whipping it around. Here's a lob over the head of Xavier Hill. Great recovery to go back and get it. Thought for sure that ball was going out of bounds. Now Hill drives and he's fouled. Shooting a jump shot. Just taking it to the bucket after saving the ball from going out. Xavier Hill, one of 3 Hills on the Hazen roster. The other 3 coaches. Did I say 3? One of 4. The player and 3 coaches, including head coach Aaron Hill, Travis Hill, and Letty Hill, also part of the coaching staff. Xavier knocking down the first free throw. Gets Hazen into double figures. Parker Guffey, one of the other bench guys for Stowe, checks in. And the second free throw is missed. Dylan Souter the rebound. But then stolen back by Hazen near half court. And then a nice bit of dribbling by Rivard. Feeling pressure, went behind the back with the dribble. Keeps the possession for the Wildcats, who kick it to the near corner. Thinking about it, Michaud back to Baker. 3 comes from the far side. Xavier Hill, the left-handed shot from the far corner, knocks it down. 13-4. Hazen Union up by 9. 90 seconds left in the first. The pass goes under the basket. Good idea, but Parker Guffey fails to squeeze it. Hard pass from Dylan Souter. It's a really good idea, frankly. Just no execution on the receiving end. Now Guffey pressuring the ball. Stowe playing a zone. Big block. Was it Souter? No, that was Maddox Gregory. Coming up with the block for Stowe, knocking it out under the basket where Xavier Hill will inbound. Hill thought about lobbing it high, instead passes it right next to him to Baker. Baker gives it back to Hill. Hill tries a floater from the baseline, near side, no. Rebound, and the putback for Rivard. Count it. And he'll go to the line to try and push the lead to 12. It's 15-4 right now with 1:08 to play in the first. Rivard already with 6 points. Let's give him 7 first quarter points. $16 for the score. Double team after Stowe was able to get it across half court. Now a double team on the far side near the half court line. Fed underneath to Guffey. Back to Brown. Changes directions. McElarney. Baseline jumper for Souter. Too strong. Might have rushed it a little bit. Was actually a pretty good look. Almost turned over by Hazen on the other end. Good recovery by Rivard, fighting to keep the ball. And now driving in, being called for the charge, Gabriel Michaud. One of 3 Michauds on the team. You've got Morgan, the 9th grader, Gabriel, the 11th grader, and Lincoln, the senior. And foul called on Gabriel, the junior. 20 seconds left for Stowe as they get it across half court. A basket here would get them to within 10. A three-pointer would, well, let's cut it to 9. We have a foul here. Tripping foul called on Baker. 4 fouls aside. Lobbed in to the paint. Souter gets fouled, and he'll shoot 2. He's been the best player in this first quarter for Stowe. Has 2 of their 4 points and an opportunity here from the line to double that figure. Hits the first. Souter, the only 12th grader to start tonight for Stowe. Hits 1 of 2. And then we'll have an over-the-back foul on the rebound. Brown called for the foul. Moody comes back in, the point guard. And 8 seconds left. Here come the Wildcats. They get it to Moody. Thought about a three. Kicks to his left. Hills, shot. Too strong. Put back. No! Second put-back attempt after the buzzer. It will not count, and you can hear what the Hazen fans think about that call, but it was the right call. Nice putback, but just too late for Tyler Rivard. Don't think Hazen needed it, though. A pretty successful first quarter from the Wildcat perspective. They have a 16-5 lead after 8 minutes of play. We'll step away, come back with more basketball for you after this on WLVB. Hazen Wildcats with the ball to start the second quarter. A 16-5 lead after the first for the 2 seed, the Wildcats, taking on 13-seeded Stowe. Opening night of Playdown games and a turnover. One of the first poor offensive possessions for Hazen. Wasn't a terrible pass, just bounced off the fingers of Gabriel Michaud and wound up on the Stowe bench. So Stowe will bring it up, led by Chase Brown. Brown slowed down, then picked up his pace, approaching the paint, kicks to his right. Parker Guffey misses, but a putback for second chance points for Stowe, and it's a 16-7 game. They give it right back, though. Great ball movement. That's been the hallmark of this Wildcat team, just lightning quick ball movement. And that time the lefty Hill finishing with a floater in the paint. Now Brown loses the dribble and tries to hand it off to Souter. That went awry, and then Souter forced to foul, preventing what otherwise would have been a Hazen fast break. Checking back in for the Raiders, Will Brockhausen, the other senior on the squad. He wasn't a starter. Again, if you're just joining us, Stowe has 16 players listed on their roster. Only 8 are here at Hazen Union High School tonight. So a short bench for head coach Rich Tierney. Short bench as far as the coaching staffs go, too. Tierney coaches alone, where there are 6 coaches listed for Hazen. The defending Division III champs on defense right now, and a steal. Bounce pass intended for Brockhausen, ripped away by Gabriel Michaud, and in a hurry they get it back up the floor. Moody will try a three. He missed a couple, hit this one. His first tray of the night. And a 21-7 lead for the Wildcats. Brown approaching the center circle, calling for help. Trying to get a screen. Pretty solid screen set by Brockhausen. And then the bounce pass from Brown finds him. An extra pass. Parker Guffey passed up the shot, gives to Brockhausen. That's a nice possession for the Raiders, who trail 21-9. And let's call it 23-9 and send Tyler Rivard to the line. He took the pass at the free throw line, went barreling towards the hoop, took the bump, hit the layup, and an opportunity for an extra point, which if he hits would get him into double figures. Rivard, one of 3 seniors on the team, does indeed hit the extra shot. 24-9 our score. Hazen has a full court press that they keep all the defenders in the backcourt, and then when the few times Stowe has attempted a long pass, somehow, even though there are 2 Stowe Raiders waiting essentially under the basket for a pass with no Hazen players on that side of the floor, Hazen's able to hustle back and break these plays up. Knocked that last one out of bounds, and so Stowe inbounds. Brown dribbles into the paint, puts it up, pretty good shot, but it rims out. Foul called on Xavier Hill, trying to whack it away from Isaiah Thomas. And we'll see a few more of the subs come in for Hazen, including Ryan Morrison. A 3 for Stowe. They cut the lead for Hazen to 12. 24-12 our score. 5:25 to play in the second. 3-pointer for Baker. Well, there's the answer. Jordan Baker answers 1-3 with another. And Stowe again having 2 players under the basket unable to convert. The long pass got into the hands of Maddox Gregory, but he just didn't put the shot up in time to have it knocked out of bounds first. Stays with Stowe, though, and they lob it high to Chase Brown. Puts it on the floor, being guarded by Baker. Where Stowe's played a zone D, it's been a Hazen man-to-man with no hesitation when it comes to double teaming whoever has the ball. Knocked out of bounds far side, sent back in by Guffey to Brown, who went leaping in to grab it. Chase Brown will try a three. He's a left-handed shot. That's an air ball, too strong. Good rebound by Lincoln Michaud, getting it ahead to his brother Gabriel, dropping it off there. A finish from Ryan Morrison, his first two. Lead up to 17 at 29-12 as Maddox Gregory looking for some contact under the hoop. Instead, dishing at baselines, knocked out by Hazen. 3 subs come in for Stowe. That's the entire bench swapping in. And it's back to the 5 starters for the Raiders. Lobbed into Thomas beyond the arc. Dishes to the far side of the floor. Brown, ball handling, gives it to Guffey. TJ Guffey. Good pass. Thomas with it now. Thomas being guarded by Michaud. What defense? Just smothering defense from the Wildcats. Brown with the dribble had it knocked out of his hand, so it'll stay with Stowe. 6 seconds shy of the midpoint of the second quarter. All Hazen on the scoreboard, 29-12. A bump from behind, and that'll be another foul to go against the Wildcats, and it's the 7th, sending Dylan Souter to the line to shoot 1 and 1. Off the front of the rim, rebound controlled by Jaden Baker. Baker will dribble across half court. And now it's lobbed in the direction of Moody, swatted out of bounds by Keenan McElharney. So the inbound for the Wildcats comes near half court. It goes to Moody. Moody dribbles into pressure. Hits Michaud, takes it back and takes the three, knocking it down to give the Wildcats a 20-point advantage. 32-12, 3.5 left. Stowe with it. McLarney. Good feed intended to get through to TJ Guffey. But again, knocked out. There's always an arm in the passing lane from these Wildcats. Just seem to have a way to anticipate everything the Raiders are trying to do. Losing the dribble, top of the key is Dylan Souter. Souter spinning on his pivot foot. Sends the ball to the far corner. Dribbling down baseline, McLarney. Comes to the opposite corner for a shot. Thomas, no. Rebounds, Baker. Dribbles across half court. Baker's not a big kid, but he's really made an impact on the boards. Nice block after the feed went in to Rivard. Brown tries to dribble the length of the floor after the block. All kinds of banging underneath the basket, and it's going to be a foul against Stowe. And both teams in the penalty now. Foul number 8 against Stowe, sending Tyler Rivard to the line to shoot 1 and 1. Free throws up and good. Rivard now with 11 points. 1/3 of his team's total, 33. Now 34-12 the score as he knocks down a pair. 34-12. All Hazen, they steal it off the inbound pass. And a putback on Lincoln Michaud's miss by Gabriel Michaud. And that one just had the feel of backyard or driveway basketball. Those two have done that before. Too strong off the rim on one side, and there's the other kid on the other side to hop up and get it. Hazen then stealing the next play as well, but throwing it out of bounds, so Stowe will have another opportunity to inbound under the basket. Lob it across half court, leaping to get it, Isaiah Thomas, and then immediately after he grabbed it, stolen away by Baker. Baker waits for the trailer. Rivard, and yeah, he's got two more. 14 first-half points for Tyler Rivard. A 38-12 lead for Hazen with 2:11 left in this opening half. Not a fair fight, you could say, the way these two teams look right now. Credit Stowe for not losing their heads. They have not deviated from the plan, for better or worse. That plan, though, involves a lot of cross-court passes. Another one picked off here. Picked off by Baker, who gives it to Moody. Moody met by a double team. Gives it up. Baker's pass, back intended for Gabriel Michaud. Knocked out of bounds by T.J. Guffey. Isaiah Thomas is taken to the bench. Parker Guffey is back in the game. Hazen with the ball, dribbling inside the arc. Moody to the corner. Rolls out, put back, goes for Rivard. It was Baker with the miss. Rivard up to 16 first-half points. And Hazen continues to play the full-court pressure game. There comes a point in my mind where it's time to take that off. And I think we've reached that point personally. 40-12 the score. It'll be something if they continue the full-court pressure in the second half. I don't expect they will. Talking about the Wildcats here with the full-court pressure. Stowe hasn't really had an opportunity to put on any full-court pressure. Nice pass under the hoop here for Stowe to Stouter, who hits it and gets fouled. He's up to 5 points and going to the line. But Stowe hasn't been able to set up any pressure, frankly, because they haven't made a lot of field goals, and so they don't have that set. Xavier Hill checks back in for the final 1:21 of the first half. His team up 26. Still up 26 after the Souter miss. Rebounded by Lincoln Michaud. Now Gabriel Michaud feeds it to Rivard under the basket. He didn't have a good angle, but there's the help that there's always seemed to be for Hazen. Lincoln Michaud puts it back. 42-14. Stowe has found a way across half court. Basically, whoever catches the inbound pass immediately gets double teamed. We get a whistle here for a double dribble on Guffey, so goes back to Hazen. But the way the presses work, Stowe makes an inbound pass. The recipient of the pass gets immediately double teamed, and then the next move has been just to launch it across half court. It's worked about half the time. The other half of the time, that launched pass gets intercepted. We're inside the final minute of the second quarter. It's 42-14. All Wildcats tonight in front of a nice home crowd. The far side bleachers, 80% full. Near side, we'll estimate about 50% full. Opening round, of course. And a snowy night out there. Flying in towards the basket. Hitting the shot is Baker, and they say he was fouled. So he will look to pick up his 8th first-half point from the free throw line with 30 seconds remaining in the quarter. 30 seconds exactly, and a 30-point lead, 44-14. No, that's interesting. They say the basket counts, but then they didn't give him a free throw. I can't say I understand that. There's an emphatic and one, that punch-out, like an umpire's punch-out signal from one of the referees, but perhaps he was overruled. And now some confusion after a foul was called against the Wildcats. Foul was called against Will Brockhausen, and it being the 10th foul to go against Hazen. This will be 2 shots for Brockhausen, who hits the first. He has 3 off the bench for Stowe. Clock running all of a sudden. Second free throw up and good. Brockhausen has a smooth stroke from the line. Wildcats with it, 20 seconds to play. They continue the furious ball movement. Sent to the corner. Brendan Moody hits another 3. Yikes. And then Stowe has trouble with the press. Chase Brown went down. Ball goes out 47-16. 5.8 ticks left. Hazen owns the first half. They can get to 50 points if they hit a three-pointer, which they may try to do. Here's Hill. Dribbles inside the arc. Has it knocked from behind. Finds Moody. Up with it. And off the side of the rim. No good. Really all Hazen had to play for on that final possession was a 50-point half. They don't get it, but I don't think you'll hear anybody here complaining after a dominant performance sees them lead their visitors from Stowe 47-16 after 2. We'll take a break, come back with our halftime programming after this as our high school basketball coverage continues on WLVB. Welcome back inside the gymnasium at Hazen Union High School, where the Hazen Union Wildcats just running and gunning their way to a 47-16 lead after the first half. And a number of top performers for the Wildcats, but you have to start with number 15, Tyler Rivard. Rivard with 16 first-half points, and that's an unofficial figure. That's if I didn't miss any of his many buckets. He had help, and obviously a lot of great passing to set him up to hit some of his shots. Did most of his damage under the basket. Some of the guys hitting shots from outside. Brendan Moody, 6 points in the first half. Jaden Baker with 7. Xavier Hill with 6. Lincoln Michaud, he had 4. And some bench points as well for the Wildcats, who just came out and completely dominated their opponents from Stowe. Looking at that side of things, Dylan Souter leading the way for the Raiders. He was the only player to eclipse 5 points in the first half. Will Brockhausen looked really good hitting shots from the free throw line in the first half, but there just weren't very many field goals there to be hit by the Raiders. They just never got open for shots, and it's not any, well, I don't want to say it's not any fault of theirs, but it was incredibly difficult to find any daylight with this smothering Hazen Union defense. Just as soon as you get the ball playing against this Wildcat team, you have at least one, usually 2 players surrounding you. And even if it's one player, they find a way to surround you, just getting those arms wide, high, and all over. But really, you don't have time to think, let alone take a shot, create a shot, find a passing lane, any of that stuff that you want to do when you're on the offense. Hazen takes away your time and your space so quickly that you have to have a plan in mind, and you almost have to get lucky the way this Raider team looks against Hazen. To get an open shot, there have only been a small handful of made field goals, and most of them came from the paint, and it's when they made an extra pass to get away from a double team. But dominating performance, top to bottom from the Wildcats. That's how you build a 31-point halftime lead, and we'll see what kind of effort the Wildcats come out with in the third quarter. I'll be interested to see whether or not they continue to put the pressure on the inbounds pass for the Raiders. In my mind, it would be a display of good sportsmanship to ease off a little bit, maybe play some half-court defense. But I don't know, you're in the playoffs, you want to get ready, and sometimes that means that somebody has to suffer as a result tonight. That's somebody, the Raiders, who I'm sure will try to hatch a new plan with the remaining halftime time to come out and do a little bit better here. Down by 31 are the Raiders. The Wildcats on top, 47-16 at the half. We'll kick it back to Pete Cormier in the studio. He'll let you know what's going on around the rest of the sports world, and I'll talk to you in a few minutes with the second half action from Hazen Union. It's Hazen 47, Stowe 16. Welcome once again inside Hazen Union High School Gymnasium, where it's a 47-16 lead for the Hazen Union Wildcats as we begin the third quarter. Stowe with the ball, moving left to right across your radio on their opening possession. Chase Brown, who's been running the point, dribbles to the free throw line, goes up with a shot off the backboard, no good. Rebounded by Xavier Hill. Hill dribbles across half court, Dishes to his left. Jaden Baker on the near side gives it back to Hill. Hill lobs to Brendan Moody. Moody thought about launching a three. Instead gives it back to Hill, who returns the favor. Now Moody will launch the three. That one rims out. Leaping for the rebound, Isaiah Thomas, unable to haul it in. Bounces off his hands. It'll stay with the Wildcats. Hazen Union 3 points shy of a 50-point first half, and they have a chance to get there on the first make of the second half. Look who it was, Tyler Rivard. Fouled, knocking down a shot from just inside the free throw line. He now has 18 points in the game. He'll have 19 if he can hit this free throw. This to get Hazen to 50 points, and he does. Now we get to see whether or not the Wildcats are going to play the full court pressure, and they will. Stowe only sends one player in the backcourt, leading you to believe that McLarney might try to launch it, but now they bring a second player back. It's Isaiah Thomas, who gets forced into the far corner, forced to make a pass. It's intercepted. Then Rivard loses it on his way to the basket. Was knocked out of his hands, though, so it'll stay with the Wildcats. They'll inbound from under the hoop. The slap of the basketball from Xavier Hill. The inbound pass to Moody, who dribbles out of the corner up high. Now, no-look pass back to Moody on the near side. He dribbles into a double team, swatted away, swatted out of bounds by T.J. Guffey. Looked like Guffey took out a little frustration on that play. Now here's Moody coming out of the corner with the pass to Baker. Moody's a 10th grader, and he is a key cog in this Hazen offense. He runs the baseline back and forth near side, goes up with a three. He got himself open. He knocked it down. And a fast start to the second half by the Wildcats. 6 unanswered points to start. And a foul. Attempting to steal it, Baker got a lot of Chase Brown's arms, I should say. And so for Baker, that's his third personal. First foul of the second half on Hazen. Still looking for their first bucket of the second half. Brown double teamed, one hands a pass to McLarney. I mean, it's immediately a double team, no matter who gets the pass. And this ball knocked out of bounds. Thomas tried to send the ball baseline. McLarney will inbound to Brown. Immediately up with the shot. Round the rim and out. No good. Rebounded by Rivard. Giving it to Hill. Hill, top of the key, puts the ball on the floor once. Gives to Baker on his left. Moody's going to try a three from the opposite corner from the last one he hit. Too short. Rivard the rebound, kicks it back out to Moody. Moody met by a double team. Bounce passes between the defenders. Baker's three. That's going to go. Baker up to 10 points. 9-0 run to start the second half for the Wildcats. 56-16 the lead. 40 points. 3-point attempt, no good for Isaiah Thomas. Moody dribbles to the baseline, loses it, and then has the ball stolen by Brown, but he dribbles out of bounds as he tried to bring it up the floor. So it'll go back to Hazen Union. 5:34 to play in the third quarter, and 40 points separating the two teams. Stowe's three-man bench has seen active rotation. Wildcats pretty much is sticking with the starters, and they're sticking with the script, including the full court pressure. Moody's bounce pass goes into Lincoln Michaud, back to Moody, near side. Lobs it out to Hill. I love watching Moody run back and forth along the baseline. He's just going corner to corner. Meanwhile, Baker's going to knock down another three. And that's a 12-0 run. 3 made 3-point baskets and a 3-point play on a foul. Now Hazen will back the press up, and I like that. Keep it on the defensive side of the floor. Lord knows you don't need to be forcing turnovers in the backcourt at this stage. You can have them under the hoop on the other end as Rivard read the pass, stepped in the lane, stole it, Headman to Hill. Hill goes up strong. Can't get the basket to fall. Hustling back, Rivard blocks the shot, but blocks it right into the hands of Keenan McLarney, who puts home Stowe's first two of the second half. So 59-18. And another steal, this one by Brown. Brown just got away with a carry. Ball rolled over in his hands, and then it gets kicked by Baker, so it'll stay with Stowe. 4 minutes, 11 seconds left in the third quarter. Half a quarter and just one foul has been whistled on each team. Inbound pass goes to Brown. Far side of the floor, holds the ball high atop his head, then cross-court pass finds McLarney. McLarney dribbles. Hazen still playing man-to-man defense. Brockhausen being guarded by Hill. His pass picked off by Rivard. Rivard sidearm toss to Baker. Baker back to Hill. Hill's going to try a three. He's seen everybody else knock down a three. Tries his own, but off the side of the rim. Rebound controlled by Guffey. Parker Guffey, the rebound. TJ Guffey on the bench at the moment. Couple of nice stops by Stowe. Pick and roll. Pass goes to Maddox Gregory. Gregory's bounce pass to Brown. Brown dribbles high. Young Stowe team. Brown, the point guard. He's just in 10th grade. A lot of 10th graders on the floor, including Brown's runner. Not going to fall there. 3 minutes to play in the third quarter. Hazen still firmly in command. They've scored 12 so far here in the third. That's actually a much slower pace than they were scoring in the first. Averaged about 25 a quarter in the first half. Good look at three for Baker. Wouldn't fall for him. Second chance putback opportunity, Mashoud no. Third opportunity, this time Hill, or Rivard I should say, fouled. So three misses. But Rivard's going to go to the line. Shoot a pair. Try to get Hazen up over 60 points. Rolls around the far side of the rim before falling through. $16 in the first half. And now 5 in the second for Rivard, who's up over 20 points. With his team leading 61-18, 2.5 left in the third quarter. Bounce pass beyond the arc, connects with Parker Guffey. Guffey then to Maddox. Maddox Gregory. A little bit of a stutter step from Guffey for dishing to Gregory. Three-pointer doesn't land. Great dish from Xavier Hill under the basket to Mashoud, who's fouled. Lincoln Mashoud will shoot 2. Foul against Gregory, his first, third on Stowe in the second half. Credit Hazen, having committed just 1 foul in the second half. Hits them both. Michelle with 5 points now. Nice cut and a nice feed finds McLarney under the basket. He has 4 in the second half. And now he steps in front of the pass, but knocks it to Mashoud, who's fouled, going to the hoop by Maddox Gregory again. Lincoln Mashoud just hit 2, and he'll be back at the line here with 1:44 left in this third quarter. Looking really good from the line, the big man, up to 6 points in the game. 65-20, 2 makes. 4 points in the last 30 seconds for Michaud here. Now a long cross-court pass, almost picked off by Rivard. He did well to lay off, would have most certainly been charged with the foul had he gone for the ball. Dribbling in the backcourt for Stowe, Will Brockhausen, one of the seniors, one of just 2 on the roster. Should say the active roster. Again, 16 players listed on the Stowe roster, 8 in the building. Perhaps the other 8 are off on vacation. Another nice play under the hoop to set up Parker Guffey for 2. Hazen immediately gets up the floor, going to the baseline for a shot. It was Gabriel Michaud missing, but then getting his own miss, giving a faker to knock down a 3. And you know, when we said that Hazen wasn't on their scoring pace, well, all of a sudden they have scored 21 here in the third quarter, have a 68-22 lead. Brockhausen gives it to the near corner. McLarney. Fadeaway baseline jumper goes for Guffey. Stowe hitting their shots at a better percentage here in the third quarter than they did in the first half. They've scored nearly as many points as Stowe in the third quarter as they did in the first half. They still trail by a boatload. And we're going to see steps. No, a reach-in foul with 8 seconds left. Spinning this way and that. The big Tyler Rivard is so difficult to guard. Here's Xavier Hill to inbound with 8 seconds left. He smacks the ball, lobs it towards the hoop. And another foul called on Stowe. Shoved before the ball was inbounded by Guffey. Oh, no, it was on Rivard, and that's kind of what I thought. So 8 seconds for Stowe to get the final basket of the third quarter. They get it across half court. McLarney holds. McLarney goes up, and off the glass, no good. Our score after 3, Hazen 68, Stowe 24. Raiders keep fighting to their credit, but it's all Wildcats tonight with 8 minutes left to play. We'll step away and then come back with those 8 minutes for you here on WLVB. Hazen Wildcats in command. They have a lead of 44 in the opening possession. A miss under the hoop, a putback, and points for Ryan Morrison as we're going to see more of the Wildcat bench here in the fourth quarter. Now up to 70 points as a team. Hazen doing what they have to do as the 2 seed to set up their next matchup, which will be with either White River or Bellows Free Academy. Those 2 schools playing concurrently as the 3 ball goes up from Sully LaFlamme. LaFlamme, the sophomore, hits it, and seeing some of the bench players come in and make an impact has re-energized the crowd here at Hazen Union High School, and a nice job defensively by the Wildcats to turn the ball over. Brendan Moody is still out there running the point and launching threes, and he knocks one down. What a fast start to the fourth quarter. Hazen in a flash in a minute and 10 seconds time has scored 8, have a 76-24 lead against a Stowe Academy team that is simply overmatched. Another steal and an easy 2. The fast break points for Gabriel Michaud. (78-24). A 54-point edge, and another turnover as Brockhausen tried to lead a teammate under the hoop. Now a good pass under the hoop, but a miss. Fight for the loose ball. It will be Stowe ball. Morgan Michaud, the freshman of the 3 Michauds, is out there as well for Hazen. He was the one who just missed under the basket. Now Brockhausen thinks about a 3 for Stowe. Top of the arc, Brockhausen gets it back. Almost a walk from Souter. Brockhausen will try a 3 and hit the side of the rim. Well, there's a foul called against Hazen in the fight for the rebound. Just the third second-half foul to go against the Wildcats. Stowe ball inbounded to the far corner. Here's Souter out high. Bounce pass. Into the lane. Brockhausen takes another pass, walks into the lane, and then commits a pretty hard foul on Ryan Morrison. I'm not sure how you justify that, Will Brockhausen. He just took a wild swing. I guess he was trying to punch the ball out. At least that would be how he argues it. But a very undisciplined play, and one that could have, in my opinion, resulted in a flagrant foul call. That was just a bit too much from Brockhausen, who after the last steal did something similar. He's going to have to keep it in check. Obviously, not fun losing by 54, almost 57. Moody's three there rattles out. And a foul under the hoop, and that's 7 on Stowe, so we'll see free throws from Hazen the rest of the way. That's the 5th foul on Souter, who fouls out. In his last game of the year, and in fact, his last game of his career, so his last action for Stowe, the foul under the basket. Playing hard till the end. Free throws for Morgan Michaud. He misses the first, the 9th grader. His brothers Gabriel and Lincoln also on the team. Gabriel on the floor with him. Second one also no good. Souter had been a steady presence for Stowe. We'll see how the Raiders look without him. Dribbling inside the arc, giving it to Brockhausen. Parker Guffey, who gets it back. Guffey to Maddox Gregory, passed up an open look at 3. Guffey dribbles into the paint, has it stripped, recovers the ball, dishes outside for a Thomas 3 that's off the rim, no good. And great dribbling by Brendan Moody, but he's got to get it across half court. Powers his way across half court and is fouled by T.J. Guffey. Guffey trying to figure out what he did. He's trying to say that he actually got elbowed. And I wouldn't be surprised if he did. Brendan Moody's a shifty little player. Hard to keep track of him. One and one free throws for Moody. The first is good. Second one up, and how about 80 points for the Hazen Wildcats? Moody heads to the bench after knocking down those 2 free throws. And we have, how about this, all 3 Michauds on the floor at the same time for Hazen. I have not seen a lot of Wildcat basketball this year. I'm not sure if this is something that happens with any regularity, but pretty neat to have 3 brothers on the floor at the same time wearing the same uniform. Foul on the play, meanwhile. Maddox Gregory under the hoop actually caught an air ball. One of his teammates shooting it from the far corner. He caught it, went up for the shot, was fouled, and misses the first free throw here. Second free throw up, also no good. Rebounded by Michaud, which is an easy thing to say. Then had it stolen away. And a foul will give Stowe an inbound opportunity from under the hoop. Who will claim it? That's the real question. Now Maddox Gregory runs over to get the ball from the referee. And a deep 3, way too strong from Isaiah Thomas. And a turnover on the carry there. Ball got away from the youngest Michaud, Morgan, dribbling with the left. He scooped up and under. Easy call. 4:15 left in the game. 80-24, Hazen in front of Stowe. Already 12 points in the quarter for the Wildcats. Great defensive possession, blocking the Isaiah Thomas shot. Morgan Michaud pass picked off by Brockhausen, and then Brockhausen's foul. That's 5 against Hazen. And I think if you're the Wildcats, you want to avoid that as much as possible here. Just let the Raiders run their sets. And obviously defend, but when you're fouling time after time, that's really the best way for Stowe to score, in my opinion, is from the line. And from now on, that being the 6th foul, any future fouls whistled against Hazen will send the Raiders to the line. Somebody's got to go get the ball to pass it in. All the Raiders standing around, they were expecting free throws on that one, but it was just the 6th. The inbound to Maddox Gregory, who's triple-teamed and throws it away along the baseline, giving it back to the Wildcats with less than half a quarter to play in the opening play-down round. Morgan Michaud brings it up the floor, gives it to Gabriel Michaud. Into the corner, Sully Laughlin. Now the touch into the paint, little touch pass for Ryan Morrison. Good recovery by Morrison after he initially failed to squeeze it. And he winds up taking the pass on the block, putting home the layup. Great ball movement by the Hazen reserves. Their lead is 58. Morgan Michaud, the steal, leads a fast break. And the lead is 60, 84-24. Nice finish for LaFlamme. With 3:05 left in the fourth, another steal. That was too easy for Ryan Morrison. And a three-point play opportunity on the other end. Brockhausen, the hard D. But a strong finish from LaFlamme. He went down on the floor. And it made a thud. Great to see him bounce back up. That's where you remember the basketball court is not padded. Brockhausen and Guffey will come out. Brockhausen with a couple of hard fouls there in the fourth quarter. He comes off with a smile. Kind of did all he could do. He's a senior. I think he just fouled out. Both seniors for Stowe have fouled out. And some confusion on the missed free throw. It was the and one opportunity. Basket counted. It should have just been one shot. The Wildcats were ready to jump on that rebound. The officials, I think, forgot that the basket had counted. And they're going to say there was a lane violation on Stowe. That's one way to cover your butt. Another free throw here. Up and in. And an 87-24 lead. You know, Corm asked me before the start of the fourth quarter if I thought Hazen had a chance to get to 100 tonight. I didn't, especially seeing that most of the starters left, but they do have an opportunity. 13 points shy of it with 2:40 to play. Chase Brown missing a three-pointer, but he gets it back. Good ball movement by Stowe. Not something we've been able to say much tonight, but in the end, McClarney loses the handle. And two more in transition for Sully LaFlamme. Have yourself a fourth quarter, kid. It's been a 21-point fourth quarter for the Hazen reserves. They steal another. And they are trying to get to 100 points. Big-time block, though, by Maddox Gregory. Absolutely swatting it away from Ryan Morrison. Brown will slow things down, bringing it across half court with 2 minutes to play. Three ball up, off the rim, and over the backboard. Will go back to the Wildcats. They've got a minute 59 left to try and score 11 points if they indeed do want to get to 100. There are more important things at this point, just getting out of this game healthy. LaFlamme will launch a three. Off the rim, no good. But a hustle play from Gabriel Michaud to steal what looked like an easy rebound away from Stowe. A miss under the hoop, but another putback for Ryan Morrison. And Hazen's up over 90 points with 90 seconds left. 91-24 the score. I don't think that Stowe has a basket here in the fourth quarter. I'm pretty sure they got into the fourth quarter with 24 points. And they don't seem to have much interest in helping the Wildcats reach the 100-point plateau. Stowe just tossing the ball kind of lackadaisically around the arc. Now putting up a three, Isaiah Thomas, and he'll go off glass to find the long-range bucket, the first fourth-quarter points for the Raiders. Inside the final minute now. 91-27 Wildcats. They're on to the quarterfinal round. And they have a date with either White River Valley or Bellows Free Academy. We'll find out in the morning papers. Near corner, passing up the shot, LaFlamme. Doesn't look like anybody from Hazen wants to shoot at this point. Content just to while away the time. 20 seconds left in the Stowe season. I think everybody has made a gentleman's agreement that the game's going to end right here without another shot being taken, nor another foul being committed. Dribbling out the last 5 seconds, Gabriel Michaud. And that will do it on the Stowe Raiders season. They did all they could, but they were overmatched tonight against the Hazen Union Wildcats, who advanced to the quarterfinal round. The next game will be on Friday at 7 against either White River Valley or Bellows Free Academy. Final score, Hazen Union 91, Stowe 27. We'll step away, come back to wrap this one up in a moment on WLVB. Welcome back once again to Hazen Union High School in Hardwick, where the Wildcats are moving on, and they'll host another playoff game on Friday night at 7 o'clock. I say that, and as soon as I do, I realize that game might be played in Barrie. I apologize for not having all of the information on the next matchup that's not yet set, but let's focus on tonight's matchup, shall we? As Hazen gave us plenty to talk about. Got off to a big lead in the first quarter, never looked back, ultimately winning the game by 64 points. The final score, 91-27, and man, did they spread it around. Brendan Moody, the 10th grader, winds up in double figures, along with Jaden Baker, along with Tyler Rivard. Sully LaFlamme in the fourth quarter alone got into double digits. Ryan Morrison contributing 6 points, and up and down the roster, nothing but good news for Hazen. Meanwhile, on the other side, the Stowe Raiders, they tried. Let's put it that way. They did everything they could against an overpowering Hazen attack. Dylan Souter was the man in the first half, but he really kind of disappeared in the second half. Keenan McLarney was definitely the best Stowe Raider player in the second half. Put up 4 points in the fourth quarter alone. And Isaiah Thomas hit a three. Parker Guffey, Will Brockhausen, they all contributed a handful of points here and there, but just not enough to make this a competitive basketball game. And credit the Wildcats winning for the 19th time tonight, while Stowe loses, and their final record this year will be 3-17. We'll take a break, come back, and talk about our Player of the Game nominees after this on WLVB. One last time, we welcome you inside Hazen Union High School's gymnasium, where the Wildcats, with a 91-27 win, are moving on into the second round of Playdowns. And a lot of players you could look at on the Hazen roster when it comes time to talk about Player of the Game. A couple of nominees to throw at you are, I'm going to go with the two guards first, Brendan Moody and Jaden Baker. They were both rock solid. I really like watching Moody run the show. He's just a 10th grader and has a very bright future ahead of him. It was really, I guess I say he was running the show, but when he and Baker were on the floor at the same time, Baker was actually acting as more of a true point guard, with Moody running the baseline, getting himself open in the corners, where he hit down a number of three-point shots, hit a couple of threes from elsewhere on the floor as well. Baker hit his shots. He was rock solid, too, on both ends of the floor, but when it comes to Player of the Game, I think we're going to have to nominate Tyler Rivard, who scored 16 points to lead everybody in the first half. Baker had 10, but Rivard had 16. He came out and scored 5 quick ones in the third quarter and then didn't play at all in the fourth quarter. He's a big, strong kid. He was stealing everything when Hazen was in the full court pressure. He was just leaping in front of passes. It felt like he was about 3 steps ahead of the Stowe Raider players in terms of what they were going to do with the ball. I think he knew what they were going to do with it better than they did themselves. And Rivard ultimately the game's leading scorer. I have him with 23 points. He may have had a few more than that. I couldn't keep up with the furious pace that the Wildcats were scoring with. So Tyler Rivard is going to be tonight's player of the game, and certainly a player to watch into rounds number 2 and perhaps beyond for the Wildcats. I think this defending champion Division III team may have an opportunity to repeat. We'll see if they ultimately match up with the Winooski Spartans. That's the 1 seed. Hard to believe this Hazen team is not a 1 seed based on how they played tonight, but they were really good. And Rivard, the best of them all, he's the player of the game. All that's left to do really is thank everybody for tuning in and congratulate the Wildcats for moving on. Credit the Raiders for the effort tonight. It was a tough test, and while they weren't up to it, they certainly did themselves proud with the effort. Thanks to Corum for putting it all together. And enjoy the rest of the postseason. An exciting couple of weeks ahead. And we'll have all the action for you on WDEV and WLBB. But we're saying good night from Hazen Union, where the Wildcats win